The lion's share of what we pay goes in the pockets of major corporations and to wage these hideous wars going around the world, killing people and destroying things. Public needs, popular needs at home go begging. I mean, serious things that are being neglected, including basic infrastructure in the country. Poverty is rising to record levels in the country. We just had an employment report today. The numbers are all manipulated and false. The unemployment rate dropped. The hell it dropped. It dropped because people are dropping out of the workforce because they keep looking and they can't find a job. So people who want a job and can't find them after a certain amount of time, if they didn't look when a survey contacts them in the last 30 days, they don't exist anymore. They don't show up in the numbers. They want to go to work. They'd go to work this afternoon if they could find a job, but they're not counted. If they counted it, the unemployment rate in America would be close to 23%, and it's going to get higher. But you'll never hear that in what I call the scoundrel media, Sean. We're going through a Main Street depression, and at the same time, people are suffering at home. And again, the nation's resources are used for all the wrong reasons, and people could do something about it, but they don't, because they don't take a minimal amount of time to understand these things, and I mean a minimum of time. And if they did, and if they didn't get mad, if they really understood this, there's something seriously wrong with them, I think they would get mad if they understood. And that's the essence of what revolutions are made of. Gerald Celente thinks sooner or later one is coming.
Well, and again, I'm going to go back to the Ron Paul revolution. We are seeing a peaceful revolution in this country. I say it almost in every interview now. Stephen, I am not going to write off this Ron Paul revolution. He's picking up delegates across the country, and when we see 4,000, 6,000, 8,000, 10,000 people show up at every single rally he holds, these are people who understand what end the Fed means. And that's a revolutionary concept. To see that happening in our country now is absolutely revolutionary, and it's peaceful, and it's exactly what needs to happen. Before I let you go, please tell me what you're seeing on the ground there in Chicago. What do you make of this NATO takeover, this police state takeover of Chicago?
Well, I have an article coming on that too, Sean. I get ahead of myself in my writing, and I always get out the stuff that is the most time-sensitive on any day. NATO isn't arriving until, I believe, the 20th of May, so I have a little bit of time. But the article is all written, and I will get it out before they arrive. I'm appalled. NATO is a killing machine. It has nothing to do with defense. It never did have anything to do with defense. And it started with about 8 countries, I believe, and it's got 28 now. I can't imagine why these tiny little countries want to get involved in this nonsense, but they have. I think they're pressured and bribed and bulldozed and threatened if they don't get involved. So they do. And it's absolutely appalling. I just can't imagine that my city is going to be contaminated by these killers that are going to come in and take over the city. They will get a Chicago welcome. I do know that. There are lots of protests that are planned, and how the police are going to treat them, I don't know. The police are very violent in Chicago, and I imagine before NATO leaves, there will be scarred and beaten up people. I would be very surprised if that didn't happen. That's what NATO was all about. And the cops, as Celente also says, cops are enforcers for crime bosses. They're out there. They don't serve and protect the people. They serve and protect wealth and power. And you can betcha, the cops, the National Guard, the Marines may be out. Secret Service will be out in force. Chicago will be a battleground during that time. I'm going to stay indoors. I'm not going near where the violence may be, but I sure will be writing about it.
Well, you're absolutely right. We have reports of internment camps being set up down there. We have reports of evacuation plans for citizens of Chicago to be evacuated to Milwaukee. It just seems like the New World Order is using this NATO meeting in Chicago as a litmus test for what they can get away with. And for those who are listening who don't know the crimes of NATO, Stephen, maybe you should remind them about what NATO did to Libya.
NATO destroyed Libya. Libya was peaceful and calm before NATO showed up. NATO literally ravaged the country, mostly in the north. the populated area. There's a lot of desert when you get down south a good deal. So it was mostly the north. I would say minimally 100,000 people were killed. You know, the official numbers are so concocted. I don't know how the people who come up with these numbers don't gag when they put them down on paper. I would say minimally 100,000. It could have been 200,000. I mean, NATO was slaughtering civilians. They were targeting civilians. They were targeting hospitals, schools, mosques, meeting places. Unarmed people were targeted, and then you have these killer gangs running around targeting anybody they accused of being a pro-Gaddafi. You know, if you like peace and quiet and the benefits Gaddafi gave you, and most Libyans did by a long shot, you were pro-Gaddafi, and you could have your throat cut, or you could be tortured. And these were the people, these were the gangs that, led by Washington. It was a NATO operation, but Washington orchestrated everything. Washington's dirty hands are in all the violence going on in the region, including Central Asia. And if there's a war on Syria, it'll be Washington's war. If NATO's involved, it'll be Washington's war. It'll be Obama's war. How much of this can we take? I mean, how much of this do we want to see go on? Again, NATO is a killing machine. My goodness, if there was any law and order in the world, the people involved in NATO, the officials, would be put in the dock, prosecuted, convicted, and put away for life with the key thrown away. I'm not a fan of the death penalty. I think I'd much rather see them on bread and water, cracking rocks in summer heat on desert island and doing it in winter in far north Siberia. That would be a lovely fate for these people, and I would want Obama and George Bush and company to be the ones leading them into that prison isolation and harshness.
Yeah,
that would be justice.
Well said, because there is no difference between George Bush and Obama. In fact, maybe Obama is a little bit worse. They're both, the right and left are both controlled. They're both criminal, and they're controlled at the top by the banksters and the military-industrial complex. And, you know, to your point, what they did in Libya is truly a crime against humanity, and then our own government basically turned over Libya to Al-Qaeda, the same group that we're told we should give up our rights for in this country as they turn the police state around on us. We're going to wrap up here, but I really want to hear from your perspective about Ron Paul, who the man is, and does he deserve our support? Because I'm telling you, one of the guys I really respect in the truth movement and a political analyst is Dr. Webster Tarpley, and I just listened to an interview with him last week in which he really maligned Ron Paul as you know, wanting to roll out austerity in this country, and I just don't think that could be more off the mark. What's your take?
Well, I would say this, Ron Paul aside, I don't think one individual has the power to change the country, Sean. No matter what policies an individual will want to put in place, he's got the powers. I like to say an electronic image could become president of the country. It literally wouldn't matter because America has a power structure. The power structure never changes. Anybody who wants to defy it beyond a certain amount of wiggle room that every president can get, anybody who wants to exceed those boundaries gets themselves in very big trouble. The last one who did it was Jack Kennedy. I mean, Kennedy was mostly with the system, but he went outside of it on big issues, and one of them, I have to say, I think the biggest one that got him killed was wanting to end the Vietnam War. The power structure that ran America then did not want that war ended, and that was before it really began. That was before the Gulf of Tonkin. He literally wanted to end the war. He didn't want another Bay of Pigs in Cuba. He despised the CIA. He defied the system, and he paid with his life. So Ron Paul could come in with the most noble intentions, and he might try, but I would fear that he just might not last too long.
Yeah.
That's the state of the country today. And it was that way, my God, at the beginning of the 1960s. Look at Lincoln in the 19th century. He went up against the bankers. Was his assassination a banker plot? I don't know. It could have been. Teddy Roosevelt was targeted.
Yeah.
Benjamin Harrison, was he one that was targeted? McKinley was targeted. I mean, anybody who defies the system enough to bother the people in power, even in the 19th century, was targeted for elimination. What kind of a country operates this way.
A banana republic.
A banana republic indeed. It scares me.
Yeah.
At the same time, we've never had the kind of public uprising that possibly could bring real change, a kind of uprising, Sean, to oust this power structure and replace it with an entirely different system. My solution is the system we have now is so corrupted and broken that there's no possibility of fixing it. What we need to do, in my judgment, is we nearly need to level it to the ground and start over again. Just completely build from the ground up. I mean, we really have very deep roots on the way this country is run, and I think it literally is mission impossible for one person to change it.
Yeah. Well, as Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world, and at the end of the day, all we can do is try. And we sure appreciate people like you speaking truth. So, Stephen Lendman, thank you so much for joining us. We really, really appreciate it.
And thank you, Sean. I guarantee you, I try every day. I'll never quit trying. And I tell people, don't ever lose hope. If you lose hope, you lose everything. I can't imagine losing hope.
Well, the creator of the universe loves you for that, and so do we. So.
Thank you, Sean. Delighted to do it anytime.
Okay, we'll do it again sooner than this last time. We've taken too much time.
Well, I look forward to it. I honestly do. Big stuff, important stuff.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Sean.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, that's it, guys. Much more to come. New videos posting all week. Thanks for tuning in. And visit sgtreport.com for all the latest.